for our Viking cup, I have sanded and spray painted this tumbler black. And I'm going to use a number of different colors. And I'm going to, you'll see, I'm going to paint it on and I'm going to swipe it off because I want it to look medieval. So here it is. And I'm being random as far as my color placement goes. I just want it to look like it came out of a medieval tavern. And I'm not worried whether or not my colors run together or blend together. This is Color Shift. And I just found this color. I really love it. It's called Black Flash. I think it's perfect for this cup. Let's put a little down here. We're going to go around this cup several times with the different colors. I've got some metallics that I'm going to put on here, and I've got an orange that looks a little like rust, I want to say. So we're going to dress it up, and it's going to look like a mess, but that's exactly how I intended it. Because we basically just want the highlights of the colors. I had someone review one of my other Viking cups the other day, and they went nuts. So I'm going to take that as a good sign. In fact, they let me know that they were interested in at least the one that I had. Let's see. Now this one's not that much different, and I am kind of pairing up the colors as I layer them, because I want the ones that aren't going to be as prominent toward the back, if that makes sense, in the background. And as you can see, I'm just kind of slapping it on and going from there. This is a makeup sponge, dollar store. That one came off a little too much, I think. I know you can't see the bottom of this, but... And right here I'm putting on copper. Okay, so there's some in the top, and since we already know it doesn't take very much. Ooh, now see, that does stand out. That is kind of pretty. We want that because when we put our embellishment on here, we want it to kind of stand out a little bit. Not too much. It is a Viking cup where, you know, we're not supposed to get all fancy. There's a certain standard we have to uphold. But yeah, I like that on there. What do you think? That was a big old globber now, wasn't it? Let's see if we can't get it spread around a little bit and redistribute it. It dries really quick, so okay. Yeah, I know that's a lot there, but we have other colors to go on, so we probably are going to camouflage a little bit more there. I love how the sponge just kind of gives it that feathery look. Let's see, we need a little bit here, a little bit more. Ooh, that's awesome. I hope you can see it okay. I'm trying to get better about my filming and trying to make sure that I have the right angles and whatnot. It's a lot to learn. I'm up for the task, and I am doing the very best I can, so please don't come at me. But she's already looking pretty, isn't she? So this is just, I think it's called gunmetal. Nope, this is zinc. Sorry about that. And I'm just giving small hints of it. I don't want it to look, you know, new and shiny and pretty like that. I want it to be weathered and worn and have been into a couple of bar fights or tavern fights. You know, we're talking Vikings. And we're probably not going to go to the orange that I have because I think the copper is pretty bright on there. But I may go over it. I think I am going to go over it with a little bit of just regular acrylic black paint in some areas, but I'm just going to kind of dab it on. I don't want it to smear on like this is. There. Okay, I think I've had enough of that. Let me turn this on so you can see as it goes around, and we'll look at it and see whether or not we need more somewhere. But I think I'm okay with that zinc. I don't want it to overpower. There. And this is just going to tone it down a little bit. Not enough to, this is the black paint. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. I told you I'm kind of cruddy at this. It'll tone it down just enough so that it doesn't have that wicked shine to it. I think you can see that through there. It really does bring it down quite a bit, but it doesn't leave, you know, necessarily a black streak. It almost patinas it. There. Yeah, see, it takes that zinc down, and it takes the copper down a little bit. And I don't think it makes it too dark. So, I'm pretty happy with that. I may go back in with a little tiny bit of that black flash that we used, the first color that we used, because I really like that color. And I think it fits well with the theme of this tumbler. So I may go back in with that. Let's see, how are we doing? Okay. Yeah. I like that on the top. And pretty much, folks, we are through with this part of it. And this is dry. This is dry. Look, I'm not getting anything on my fingers. So we can go on to the next step. Okay, so what we're going to do next is, as soon as I can get it all together, I have aluminum foil, and I am going to, now the other cup that I did like this, I Mod Podged the aluminum foil on there, but it took a lot. I think I'm still going to do that because it did hold really well. So I think I will do that. But before we do that, I have to mark the top of this cup. And that just kind of gives me, and there's pencil mark here, a little tougher to see, but you can see it. It'll basically be on there enough for me to see it as I'm laying that on. All right, here I have the Mod Podge. Where the heck are we? There we are. Mod Podge. I'm going to lay it on there rather thick because it dries so fast that it makes me crazy. So I'm just going to put some on the cap so that just in case the paint comes off a little bit from the cup, it doesn't contaminate my container. No problems. Okay, so I am just going to lay it on here. I want to make sure that I have a good amount at the seam in the cup, the split in the cup there, but my aluminum foil. And it's only going to just barely go over the edge. I don't want the cup sitting on it. When you start adding things like this, you know, it's easy to introduce an air bubble. One thing you don't want under epoxy is an air bubble. That's just a weak spot. There. Okay. Now I've got quite a bit on there, but I'm going to go through it and double check. See here, it's where it's nice and shiny. That's because it's already drying. That's the good thing about Mod Podge, and it's the bad thing about Mod Podge is that you have to work quickly in order to get your stuff down for it. It works the same way with glitter. If you're going to use Mod Podge to put your glitter on, you better be able to move quickly. Have everything lined up. Okay, and I'm not worried if it gets up on the cup. Most of you would already know that if you use Mod Podge, it doesn't show through your epoxy. It's actually not a bad thing for it to be up there because it will help to seal that edge, because we're going to have to go back through and seal it anyway. So we might as well take advantage of doing that right at this point too. So this is laying down nicely. I'm not mad at it. There we go. It does stay wet for a little while, and especially underneath a solid piece like foil. I am calling this fair and letting that be what it has to be. Now, putting it on the top is going to be another story on here, but we're going to do the best we can. Let's see how we do. And like I said, I'm not worried about the Mod Podge getting down onto, you know, the lower part of the aluminum foil that I'm putting on here, because it just acts as a better sealer. See that on there, and I'm going to squeegee that down. We like the wrinkles in it, and I should have said that before. I reuse my aluminum foil that I use for projects like this, because I use it when I bake my polymer clay. And I I wrap my cups in them before I put my structures on there, my sculptures. And it just makes it easier to get them off, so that I'm not picking at them and having to chip them away from the cup. Okay, now that's all on there. I'm going to go around the edge and I'm going to seal it. And like I said, this dries pretty quick. So I'll just wipe it down there so I don't have a ridge. None of us wants a ridge from our Mod Podge. We just want it to seal. Let's see. I love doing these. These are like my favorite cups to do. This type where there's a number of different mediums that you use. I like the other ones. I like the glitter, and I like the alcohol inks. But yeah, I gotta say these are my favorite. Okay. We will be back. The bands are dry now, and it's only been, oh, probably 20 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and paint these bands with the black flash, considering I really like them. I'm going to use one of my handy dandy little makeup brushes or makeup sponges, and I'm brushing it on and I'm dabbing it off. I just want it to look weathered. I guess that's what I'm looking for. We are almost done with this part. So it's going rather quickly, I believe. I worked out as many kinks as I could with the first one that I did. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think we're going to go for the zinc, because we don't have a lot of the zinc in here, but I want it to tie in. I'm going to do bigger circles around here with the zinc. I don't know which way to hold this for you. With the zinc. And then I'm going to make the studs with, I don't know, either the copper or the rich espresso. What's your vote? Of course, I won't know this until you've seen it, but I hope I picked the right one for you. But the rich espresso, I have extra in this little cup here. I can dip in there. You know what? I'm probably going to do that. Okay. I'm using a sponge blender with a little handle on it. I'm going to use this to put, I'm going to put that one right there, and then you'll see it. See? I'm going to do those, the The bottom ones I want offset a little bit from that. So, and I'm not measuring to see where these are going. I can't be that fussy. I just want to know that they are not lined up, so to speak. And I'm just dipping it into the cap and getting some on there right here. Hopefully I don't wind up with one that's going to be way too close to the others. Let's see how we do, folks. Right here. Sorry if I'm being quiet. I'm concentrating. Oopsie poopsie. That one didn't want to give up the ghost. Get a little more in the top of this. If I could hold still, I could actually get it in there. Okay, that's not bad. That's not too bad. I think they're all right. These are a little closer than the first two, but you know what? Like I said, not supposed to be perfect. It was for the Vikings. Okay, we're going to cap that up, and I think we're just going to do a test. This is another technical tool. I call it a dowel, but I use it a lot of times when I do my dot art, when I have to have bigger dots, because it does lay down the dots a little differently. Okay, here goes nothing, y'all. Ooh, I like that. Yep, that's what we're going to do. I like it. Okay. And I'm going to have to do this twice because I want it to look semi-raised. And you can do that by building on your dots. Because once the outer skin dries on the acrylic paint, it'll allow you to kind of stack it. That looks really cool. So yeah, this is going to take a little more time to set up because it's layered and it's globby. I don't know, technical term. So it's going to take a little bit for that to set up before I can stack the other on top. Otherwise, it'll just spread it around, which totally loses the effect. Stay tuned. Okay, so now everything is dry and I'm ready to take this excess foil off. What I use is my little X-Acto knife, and same knife I used when I trimmed the top of my cups in the finishing process. So let's go. I'm just riding along the edge of the tumbler, trying not to scratch it, and trying not to take off up into the painted area. Oops, I probably shouldn't have pulled that out yet. Okay. the resin all mixed up. I mixed up 5 milliliters. And I'm just going to do a base coat on this. It's not going to be anything more than an anchor for the paints. So, first coat of resin going on. I'm going to make this fairly thin. It'll almost be like the hang method, where you just put a very little, and I see some people that can put like 2.5 milliliters on a tumbler and get it covered. That's not me. It's not me. But I'm pretty sure I can get this completely covered with just the 5 milliliters. Yeah, I'm kind of haphazard all over the place just for this coat. It's not, I don't take this one too seriously. This is just enough to get me rolling for the rest of the process. I love how the resin really brings out the multicolors in this cup. I hope you're able to see that. And I'm satisfied with that for now. So we're going to let that spin, and we will be back.